back to the Beachfront Bookworm. I am Tiffany. I'm so glad y'all found me again today. My channel is all about cozy mysteries and romance books, and today I'm doing my 2023 Cozy Mystery SAS list. So SAS is serious about series. My friend Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books, she made this challenge up multiple years ago now. She has a phenomenal YouTube channel. Make sure you go check her out and subscribe. But in a gist, serious about series is for people who have and read a lot of series and want to make progress in them. So this year, with it being 2023, she made a few prompts, I think there's 3, that will all focus on 3s. So you can do 3 lists, you can do focus on trilogies, you can focus on books that you need, or series you need to read 3 or less in. Series that are longer, but you want to read at least 3 of. All sorts of ways to spend the 3. She has a video about her specific prompts. I'm going to do 1 list because last year I did more than 1 and I'm too scattered for that. I need it all in one location. So I'm doing 1 SAS list. It's going to have 23 series. I want to work on it. And I used her idea of 3s. So I'm going to be having some trilogies or series I need to read 3 or less in. I'm also doing longer series that I want to read at least 3 of is the goal for that. And I also picked 3 ebook series. So of my 23 series, 3 of them are exclusively like ebook. They're not in audio form. I probably will read more ebook than that. I just wanted it to be realistic. And since it was a challenge kind of revolving around 3s, I thought that was perfect. Again, make sure you go check out Lizzie Faye Loves Books for her 2023 SAS, where she talks about all of her great, amazing prompts. And let's get into this. My 2023 Cozy Mystery SAS list in 3, 2, 1, go! All right, let's talk announcements. Monday night, the reading sprints are either on Lee's channel from Dark Roots Creations or Storm from Storm Reads. Both of those are amazing channels. Go check them out. Subscribe to those ladies. Lee has been under the weather, so I'm not sure if she's going to host, but otherwise, either channel will have them at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, on Thursday, Sarah from The Bookish Knitter, I think, is hosting sprints. I'll check in with her. If she's not hosting them, then they'll be on my channel at 7 p.m. Eastern. On Saturday, Christmas Eve, I'm going to be doing all-day sprints. I think I'm going to be starting maybe around 2. I'm going to brunch with my family at 11:30, and then we'll be home the whole rest of the day. And at the time I decided to do all-day sprints, Kevin was still out of town. It's just more time for him to play his video games. So he's perfectly fine with doing that after we get home from our family's Christmas Eve celebration. So I just knew that I would be lonely because when I thought I was going to be by myself, and I just thought that's a good way for all of us that maybe can't get out of the house because of weather or don't have a lot of family near them, can still have people to interact with on Christmas. So come join those sprints. They'll be all day. I think I'm going to start them around 2 p.m. Hang out, chat, read. All right. Okay. Here is our list, or my list. The first one was on my list from last year. It's the Campers and Criminals series. So I did catch up quite a bit on that series. I will talk about it on my 2022 SAS wrap up, but I am including it in the 2023 because I definitely want to continue. And my goal is to read at least 3, but I'll definitely probably read more than 3. All right. So this one, our main character is Mae West. She owns the Happy Trails campground in Normal, Kentucky, where nothing is normal. It is a phenomenal series. I absolutely love it. Our main character's husband, at the beginning of the first book, he had been arrested. It all happens before the book even starts. He was arrested for like a white collar crime, I think embezzlement, and all of his assets are seized. The only thing she's allowed to keep is the campground. So that's when she ends up there. The campground, they do nightly potlucks. They have, there's a group of ladies that call themselves the Laundry Club ladies who help solve crime by day with May and gossip at night. And I just love this series. I can't wait. Number 2 is the Santa Fe Cafe, which is a trilogy, so it was perfect. Again, I kind of try to pull out my trilogies. I only have 1 left in the series. I've read the first 2. It's really fun. It's set in New Mexico. It features Tres Amigas Cafe. The main character is named Rita. She has a octogenarian boss, and they work at this cafe, and there's all sorts of really cool cultural references in this, and I just love this series. And again, I only have one left, so it's perfect. Number 3 is my first ebook series. It's the Sophie Kimball series. So I actually have 2 goals for this one that fall into the 3s. It's my first of 3 ebook series, and I want to read at least 3 in this series this year. So the Sophie Kimball series is set in Arizona. Our main character is Sophie. She goes by Fee. I was about to say we call her Fee, but she goes by Fee. So she moves to Arizona. Her mother lives in a retirement community in Sun City, West Arizona. And she worked for a police department, and a cop at the police department retired and moved out to Arizona and opened up a detective agency. And then she follows him out to be his bookkeeper. And what ensues is just utter brilliance, because her mother and her mother's friends who live in this retirement community are a hoot. I absolutely love them. Harriet and her gang, they are like my goals in life when I get older. I absolutely love them. Number 4 is the Haunted Yarn Shop Cozy Mystery Series. This is by Molly McRae, and I think I have 3 left in this series. So that is my goal for this one. It features Kath. She was a textile specialist, which is really interesting, like preserving textiles. She inherits her grandmother's fiber and fabric shop in Blue Plum, Tennessee. There's also a ghost in this series, and the ghost is hilarious because the ghost is very like Eeyore, like, you know, melancholy and always kind of upset. And I just love this series. I really enjoy it. It's so much fun. Next up, number 5, the Maine clambake series. All right, so the Maine clambake, my goal for 3s is to read at least 3 more in this series. I think I've read through book 3. And I want to read at least 3 more. So, takes place in Maine. It features Julia Snowden. She moves back to her hometown of Busman's Harbor, Maine, to be part of her family's clambake business. And the first book, I was like, oh, it's okay. But everybody was like, no, you need to read it. You need to read it. It's one of my favorite series. I heard this from a lot of people. And now that I've kept going and I've read 2 and 3, it's gotten better each time, and I'm really invested in this series. And I hope to read more than 3, but my goal is to read at least 3. Next up, number 6 is the Bake Shop Cozy Mystery Series by Ellie Alexander. I need to read the last 3 to be caught up. So my goal is to read at least 3, because then I would be caught up in what is out right now. I say that because I know that she's working on a new one. So if that comes out, hopefully I'd finish that too. But my goal is at least 3. This is set in Ashland, Oregon, which is a real place. Our main character, Jules, she works for her family's bakery business called Tort. This has great side characters. There's a lot of theater in here because Ashland, Oregon is hometown to the Shakespeare Festival. So there's a lot of theater incorporated in this series. There's a great, I don't know if you'd call him a villain, but there's a nemesis, if you will, Richard, who I absolutely love. I just love everything about this series. It's so much fun. Number 7 is the Stony Brook Cozy Mystery Series. I'll put book 1 right here. This is by Aaron Scott. Our main character is Hadley James. Hadley makes jam, and I love jam and jelly making. I wish that there were more series with that kind of theme. I'm actually starting, as part of my 23 series I want to start, I included a jelly and jam making, and I can't wait. I really wish that there was more though. Oh, okay. And she sells them at farmer's market. In this series, she has a twin brother who is the cop in town. Her best friend is a great side character. It's so cozy. I love it. Number 8 is the Classic Diner series by Jessica Beck. This is my 2nd ebook series. And I also have a goal to read at least 3 in this series. So this features husband and wife team, Greg and Victoria, and they run the charming Moose Diner in Jasper Fork, North Carolina. I loved the first one in this series. It was so much fun. I I'm always looking for a good diner series, and the first one really delivered, and I can't wait to continue the series. Number 9 is the Cajun Country series by Ellen Byron. I have 3 left in this series, although not in order because somehow I read a book further along in the series. I don't know if I messed up or obviously I messed up, but I don't know how it happened. Anyways, I have 3 left. This series is set in Louisiana in New Orleans. It features Maggie and her family. They run a plantation style bed and breakfast, and it is great. I really enjoy the last one I read was a Christmas one, and there was so much history about New Orleans traditions during Christmas time with the bonfires and all this. I didn't know any of that, and it was so interesting, and I love it. Number 10 is the Silver Six Crafting Cozy Mystery Series by Nancy Haddock. First book will be right here. This is a trilogy. I have 2 left in it. This is the series I thought would be like my favorite of the year. It's a group of seniors, and they're spunky and crafting and all this stuff. And I gave the first book 3 stars, but I've had a lot of people tell me to continue reading. And as we all know, a lot of times first in series have a little build-up and character building that sometimes you're not completely sold on the series. That may be what just happened. So I have high hopes for book number 2. So number 11 is The Ice Cream Shop by Marie Allen. The first book will be right here. So this is an interesting one. It's set in Connecticut. Our main character, Riley, worked for was a librarian at the CIA and botched a undercover mission. And so she's come back to her hometown. She came back for a funeral, really. But because of, it was her best friend's relative. I don't remember if it was a parent or what. But she wants to make sure her best friend is okay. But also, she's kind of licking her wounds from this undercover mission that went wrong. And so she decides to stay a while and work for the ice cream shop. These have the best covers. I absolutely love these covers. I've read the first one. There's only 2 out, so I only need to read 1 to be caught up. But there is a 3rd book releasing in the middle of 2023, so I also hope to accomplish that one. So I was on a little bit of an ice cream kick. Number 12 is The Ice Cream Shop Cozy Mystery Series. Book 1 will be right there. This is by Abby Collette. It is a trilogy, so it fits perfectly in with our 3s. I only have 1 left to read. This is set in Ohio. Our main character, Wynn, just graduated with an MBA and is taking over her family's ice cream shop. And I'm sad to know that this book is only a 3-book series because I think it's so much fun, and I can't wait to read the last one. Next up, number 13 is the Noodle Shop series by Vivian Chen. So this fits in with a couple of 3s. I want to read at least 3 in this series, and this is my 3rd ebook series. So this series, our main character is Lana Lee. She works at her family's noodle shop in an Asian district in Ohio, and I absolutely love it. The more I read of this series, the more I like it. It's so fun. I highly recommend it. Next up, number 14 is the Berry series by Sharon Farrow. This is my 4th and last ebook series. I could not decide. I really wanted to read all of the ones I picked that were ebook. So here we are with number 4 and the last one. This is set in Michigan. Our main character is Marley, and she runs a berry basket shop. Everything is berry. Anything you can think of that could be berry is there. Candles, berry chapstick, berry jellies, jams, bakery items, you name it, it's there. And I loved the first one. I gave it 5 huge cups of coffee. I really enjoyed it and can't wait to get into more of this series. Next up, number 15 is the Retired Witches Cozy Mystery Series. This is by Jim and Joyce Levine. It is a trilogy. It is ebook. Oh, so I have 5 ebook series. I couldn't decide. I'm keeping it. I'll get through it. I'm gonna do it. So this is also ebook. I only have 2 left. So this one's set in North Carolina, and the first one was so good. It was so funny. Our witches are 3 main characters, and they want to retire. And in order to retire, they have to be replaced by another witch so that everything continues to working as it's supposed to. And they're starting to lose their powers, which is now it's not like they want to retire, they need to retire. So it was so funny. Like they're trying to do these spells and the spells are going wrong and ending up in like, you know, crazy stuff happening because they're mixing it up. And it was so fun. There were points where I thought it was getting a little too paranormal for me, but every time they would pull it back and it was so good. Really, really recommend this series. Number 16 is the Beachfront Bakery series by Fiona Grace. I want to read at least 3 in this series. This features Allison. When the first book starts, she is in a job where her boss is just really demanding and hard to work for, and things are kind of topsy-turvy with her boyfriend, and everything turns on its head within like the first few chapters of this book. Like everything kind of falls apart. Normally we see cozy mysteries like, oh, we're being told, well, I'm moving back home because, you know, I lost my job, my relationship ended. You're hearing these things, but like you were seeing it in real time happen. So after all this kind of crumbles around her, she sees an opportunity to buy a beachfront bakery. And the way that it's presented is like a boardwalk, and there's all sorts of other things to do on the beachfront, and I am always there for anything that resembles a boardwalk, a fair, a carnival. Can't wait to read more in this series. Next up, number 17 is the Haunted Vintage Mystery Series. This is by Rose Pressey. I want to read at least 3 in this series. This is set in Georgia. Our main character is Cookie Chanel, and she has a vintage clothing store called It's Vintage, y'all. And this takes place in Georgia, in Sugar Creek, Georgia. And she is putting away clothes one day and starts hearing somebody talking to her, and she sees them and she's going about her business, and then realizes that nobody else can see or hear the person around her. And it was done so well. Funny and charming, and I absolutely loved the first book, and I can't wait to read more. Next up, number 18 is the Madison Knight Cozy Mystery Series. I want to read at least 3 in this series. This is by Diane Villiers. So our main character is an interior designer, and she's obsessed with Doris Day and that time period and that style. And it was just so fun and unique. Next up, number 19 is the Cape Cod Foodie Cozy Mystery Series by Amy Pershing. First book will be right here. This has 3 books out in it. I'm not sure if it's finished or not. I've read the first one, so I have 2 left. This features a foodie, Samantha. She inherits her great aunt's shop on the Cape and gets a job reviewing restaurants. I thought the first one was okay. I think I gave it 3 or 3.5 cups of coffee, which is a great read. But I wasn't totally sold on it, but the cover is great and the theme is great. So I'm thinking that I definitely need to try number 2. I love Cape Cod area. Foodie is one of my favorite themes in cozy mysteries, so I'm definitely excited about continuing this series. Number 20 is the Royal Spyness series. So this is one of my all-time favorite series, and I'm not very far along in it because it's really hard to find on audio, but I just got Audible. So I immediately put this one on my list, and I'm so excited about it. The narrator for this series, for I think it's the first 11 or 14 or something like that, is the best narrator of any series I have ever heard. It takes place in the 1930s in London. Our main character is Lady Georgie, and she is 34th in line to the throne. Actually, she's now 35th in line for the throne because of a birth in the family. And I love this series. It's funny. It's quirky. Her family is outrageous. The side characters, she's always visiting the queen, and it's just, their interactions are so funny. I love everything about it. And like I said, the narrator is the icing on the cake. I've never heard someone be able to do all these different accents and everything as well as they do. Oh, it is fantastic. Number 21 is the Domestic Diva series by Krista Davis. Number 1 will be right here. I have 3 left, I think, to be caught up. This might be 4, but I think it's 3. This takes place in Virginia. It features Sophie, and it's hard to explain. She's like a DIY expert, and it's really fun. There's a nemesis that kind of annoys me because, I mean, you're not meant to like her, but normally nemesis are fun to dislike. This one's just not even that. Like, I just, ugh. But I like every other thing about this series, so I'm definitely going to get caught up. Number 22 is the Italian Chef Cozy Mystery Series by BRUNS. First book will be right here. This is a trilogy, and I only have 1 left to read. So I think it takes place in New York. I want to say New York. I didn't write it down. I apologize. But our main character is Tessa. She buys an Italian restaurant after her husband is killed in the first book. So she's trying to, mourn his loss, but she's also living out her dream of her first love of cooking. And it's just a really fun Italian cooking, and I love restaurant cozies, so it was a no-brainer to put it on the list with only 1 left. I can't wait to get to it. And our last series on my SAS list is the Courtney Archer Cozy Mystery Series by Rosemary Ross. Book number 1 will be right here. This is a trilogy, so it fits into our 3s. I have 1 left in this one too. So this one is set in New York. It features Courtney, who she hosted a show called Cooking with the Farmer's Daughter, or Farmer's Daughter Cooking, or something like that. And it was a total fabrication. She just wanted something to get a show started so she could start, like, getting her career off. But when that took off, then she was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get out of this? Because she grew up in the city. Her father's a doctor. But I really, really enjoyed the first 2 in this series. I actually wish it was longer. The fact that it's only a trilogy is sad. All right, so that is my SAS list. I would love to hear what y'all's SAS list is. Put it in the comments below even. I love seeing what y'all are planning on reading next year, what you're most excited about reading, anything else. Give me a big thumbs up for this video, and until next time, may all your future reads be 5 stars. Bye, everybody!